Our trip around the world was 38,000 miles, and we took 5 years to do that.
Wow.
And while we were gone, we had our house built down here in Punta Gorda, and that's how we ended up in Punta Gorda. We're actually from New Hampshire. I wouldn't go offshore on any sailboat without having one of these. It's the heart of a steel boat. This is the electrical system.
What was your most memorable stop?
So we had custom hatches made with bars, and this is for all the hatches, the overhead ones. So when we're at anchor, we would put these in place, and we also had infrared audible alarms to let us know if anybody came on board.
Alright guys, down in beautiful PGI, Punta Gorda, Florida once again. And I have got a boat to show you guys today. Custom built 42 steel Ted Brewer Iron Mistress. We're about to meet the owner here and get the full tour. I'm here with the proud owner, Robert. What kind of boat is it?
She is a custom Ted Brewer design cruising boat, and she's steel, and she circumnavigated the globe with me and my wife, and she's now down in Punta Gorda. And considering all the things that we've done with her and all the years that we've owned her, we are going to put her up for sale. Reluctantly, but time to do that. And that's why Brian's down here today doing a little film of her.
Yeah, the hull is beautiful. He just painted it with all grip. What was the
whole boat's been all gripped, and it's been epoxied inside. The interior was designed so it could be basically removed to get to every aspect of the bilge or anything else you wanted to get to, and therefore it was able to be repainted. It was a 1.5 year process, and very expensive and very time consuming, but you can see the results here. The bulwarks here are completely removable so that you have good drainage and that you can finish them off the boat instead of on the boat, which usually makes a mess. All the stainless steel on the boat, and the boat itself was made from American steel, and it's 316L, which is the good stuff, and if you keep it polished up, you'll have no problem with it over the years. She's got an aluminum mast, of course. She's a cutter rig. It's got a new rig. This is all Stay-Locks on the bottom down here, and Stay-Locks on the top. The rig's 2021. These are running backstays. She's got an anchor system that is really great. It's got a twin A-frame bowsprit on her, 4-inch stainless steel. All the winches are either Lumar or Enkes, which are made in Holland. They're solid stainless steel. And come on aboard. Let's go up to the bow.
all the decks have been painted, new non-skid paint, nice gray two-tone color, really like that.
These dorades are a solid stainless steel, and they're not going anywhere. You can tie things to them, you can do whatever you want. This is a lighthouse windlass, top of the line, and she's got 300 feet of chain and 250 feet of chain on the second anchor with 100 feet of 3/4 inch line. All these lines you see here is because we're getting set up for the hurricane season here. They go out to hurricane anchors. She's got profurl cutter rig with the head sail up there. It's got brand new max sails on the 2 foresails here, and it's got a stack pack for the main, which is fully battened, and she has bat cars, which allows this boat to be reefed downwind. Our trip around the world was 38,000 miles, and we took 5 years to do that.
Wow.
And while we were gone, we had our house built down here in Punta Gorda, and that's how we ended up in Punta Gorda. We're actually from New Hampshire. And so, if you come back this way, You have Bomar hatches, a couple more dorades, and all the reefing for the main is done here, but all the other sails are reefed in the cockpit. This is a spinnaker pole that's on its own track, so even my wife, who's very petite, can set it up for the head sails when we're running downwind. And you have a separate track here, which is for a storm trysail. Sits in a bag here in case you get in some really bad weather and you want to use it. Actually, going around the world, we never had to use it, so, but it's there if you needed it. This is a boom brake, and it acts as a vang also. And this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, because if your boom starts to come across when you're jiving, this will slow it down to a manageable rate and won't destroy your equipment in the process. I wouldn't go offshore on any sailboat without having one of these.
All right, to the cockpit.
Now we have this cockpit designed by Ted Brewer, so it doesn't have traditional scuppers. It actually has the scuppers in the aft part of the cockpit, and the cockpit is slanted aft. So when water fills in here, and it will when you go out to sea, when you get a big wave sometime, just drains out the back, and then you don't have any of the worries of having a scupper with a pipe coming off or through haul causing a problem. Now we have an aft wheel, which is strange for a lot of people, but not really. It lifts up here, and we have a complete autopilot in here, and we have a 20-pound propane tank here, and right below here we have another 20-pound propane. We have found that we can go 3 to 4 months or more with that amount of propane, which is important when you're going voyaging. And the wheel, if you're steering, it's no different than any other wheel. You turn it to the right, boat goes to the right. Turn it to the left, it goes to the left. Starboard and port. And when we're out at sea, we're always, or even going across Charlotte Harbor, we're on the autopilot anyway. So you're not steering the boat. And when you do hand steer, you can sit just like this, a lot more comfortable than standing behind a wheel, and you can see all the instruments right there. They're at eye level. So you can see them standing up or sitting down. A lot of other boats that I've had and been on, when you're sitting to the side of the wheel, you can't see the instruments because they're made for you to see when you're standing up. Now, we can go below, and every place where there might be a wear area on this boat is stainless steel, just like as the threshold that you're looking at right there. Because I built her out of steel because steel's the strongest material, number one. Number two, it doesn't have any problems with its chain plates. They're never going to leak. They're never going to distort the hull when you tighten your rig up. Number three, we have no communication through the hull with port lights. As you can see right down here, there's no bolts around there at all. They're TIG welded to the mild steel. And so no leaks there either. And all the handrails right up on along the boat are on 1-inch bar stock that's TIG welded to the deck, and no communication through the cabin top. These are all things that are necessary on a steel boat or a metal boat to keep it from rusting.
How about this bimini? It's
Bimini
solid.
is
Looks
a
stout.
cord bimini with Divinicel, and that's 1.5-inch 316L stainless steel. So it's very strong. It can be enclosed. We have a Dodger over our offset companionway that you can either go in it like this, or you can just duck down and go in. And it's designed to run another Dodger across here. I just haven't put it on yet.
Okay, yep.
And that's why nothing's there.
How about, tell me about this again?
This is a observation dome that we have, which I couldn't get one during the pandemic. So I just put a flat piece of, excuse me, plexiglass there, which is Lexan. And we use this because she's steel, we can put our communications up here Wi-Fi, etc., and then it can communicate because we have satellite communications on it. That's our tower back there that has all our instruments on it, so that they're not up on the mast where kind of a problem with the cables and so forth. This makes it much more accessible. So come on down.
Beautiful down here, very open, bright, a lot of natural light.
It's an open concept. It was made for 2 people, an occasional crew, and we have a galley the size of a 50-foot boat or bigger. It's a gourmet galley, as my wife likes to cook. We have a 4-burner stove from Australia.
It's very nice. That's the original.
That's the original. And all the wood is New England ash or red oak. Countertops are Corian. There's a deep freeze with a sea frost holding plate system that can be run off 110 or off the motor. And when these plates are frozen, if you turn the motor off, you can keep ice cream frozen in here for 72 hours, and that is an absolute fact. And that's our regular holding plate refrigerator. All the cabinets have caning in them for ventilation.
Yeah, I like that. It's nice. Nice look.
I'll show you the motor here, Brian. This whole box that we're looking at right here, this box is completely removable, and we have a 12,000 pound pad eye here. So I'll show a picture to Brian that he can use later on, where you can actually lift the motor out, one person by themselves. And also the motor is almost in the middle of the boat, where you want to have the weight instead of up in the stern. And so this is all designed to sail around the world. The whole boat is foam insulated except for in the bilge. So it was made to go down into the higher latitudes, because we had planned on going around Cape Horn in the beginning, but we couldn't get insurance for it. So we just went around the world instead. But if you wanted to go down to Cape Horn, it's got central diesel heat, and it's got everything else that you need to do that. And here's
Yanmar, or
it's a Yanmar 56 horsepower, naturally aspirated. I rebuilt it myself in the past year. It's got a 210 ampere hour alternator. That's that big white one. The blue one next to it is the compressor for the sea frost system, and then there's another 160 amp alternator down on the side, which you can't see. But to get to all of this, you can remove this box, no problem, and then lift the motor up or get to anything else. For normal maintenance, everything is right here. You've got Marilon, which are non-metallic seacocks, and all the hosing and the wires and everything have been replaced in the past 2 years. And this is the heart of a steel boat. This is the electrical system. All her electronics have been replaced in the past couple years. They're all up to speed with Wi-Fi and connectivity. It's got an isolation transformer, which is at sea power, so you can use it with shore power any place in the world, including the United States. It's got your 3-step charger up there. And if you look back there, Brian, you can see these 2 big bars.
Yep.
Those are a negative and a positive bus bar. So everything in this boat goes to those 2 bars. Nothing's grounded to the motor. It's got a 2-pole sensor system on it, and that stops it from having electrolysis and any problems that you would normally have with a metal boat. It's absolutely essential. And it would be nice if you could do that on all boats, because it would reduce all the electrolysis that you get through your props, which are bronze and so forth, on stainless steel shafts. And all our handrails are hand-formed stainless steel. So these aren't just fiddles to keep things from falling off. You can grab onto these,
yeah, wow,
and they're not coming off.
Right. It seems like everything on this boat is like that, where it's
yeah,
not
the handhold, right?
Yeah. And why is that? Why don't other manufacturers ground their boats that way?
Because it's common, like in a car. A car is everything is grounded to the motor. And the reason they do that, I guess it's cheaper that way. But if you buy like a Caterpillar, a bulldozer, it's got 2 poles on it. Why they do that, I'm not sure, but they do, because that's where I got my instruments from, was from Caterpillar.
Oh, okay.
And
cool.
She holds 90 gallons of water with removable tanks, but we keep a water maker in here. The water maker now is outdated, so it's not included with the boat. But the only thing you'd need to go around the world with this now is a new water maker. So go ahead forward, Brian, and you can look around up there.
What were you telling me the material is on the upholstery?
This is ultra leather.
It's very soft.
It's got bolsters here for your legs, and we only have 2 drawers in the whole boat. And the reason we did that is because it's much more storage without having all the drawer hardware in here. And that way you can fill it up with stuff.
Yeah, is this the original?
Yep. This
condition.
This was done in 2002, and you can see it's in excellent shape. Ultra leather is great stuff. Just clean it off with Windex when you want to. All the
is this the oak? I think you said
that's the red oak, which is the ceiling, and the overhead is all Brunswick plywood with Formica glued onto it.
Okay.
All the berths have leaf cloths that you can put in that go down here, so it takes 1, 2, you have 3 sleeping berths here, and then you have a double in the back. And if you go forward there, Brian, you can see the V berth. That's a custom mattress. Feel free to flip it up for the storage. So we've got plenty of storage. And if Brian looks forward, you can see there's a cane ventilation place. That whole area comes out, all the chain is in there in removable boxes, and it's a dry chain lock.
Wow, that's good access. It's a lot of space.
You can see that the chain is in a dry locker there. So that whole locker is removable wood that's fiberglass and epoxied, and you can take the chain out. It's dry. And that's why that chain is over 20 years old, and you can see the galvanizing on it is just fine, and that's because of where it lives.
And the bulkhead can be unscrewed, completely removed. If you need to do any maintenance in there. There's access to the bilge. African Abinga wood.
Abinga.
And that's nice rich color. What in here?
Just ventilation.
Ventilation. Nice.
And that's the wet bath.
I like that latch. Nice and smooth.
And the sump pump in the shower pumps overboard. You might want to show that right there. That's our certificate that we've been ad measured to go through the Panama Canal. So if anybody goes through it again, They don't have to be measured, it's right there. And we Wi-Fi everything from the cockpit into an iPad, which sits right on that.
Okay, nice, yeah.
And the iPad can also be popped up on that other ball there, so if you want to watch a movie from the salon, you can.
What do we got for aft sleeping quarters?
This is a double, and it also has a lee cloth. That comes up and clicks in here. So if you're on a port tack, which the side would be up there, you're not going to fall out with this.
Right. Yeah, it's nice and comfortable. Nice big space, really.
And these are real ocean lights, the expensive kind, and they're great.
Yeah, it's amazing. How did you learn your carpentry skills?
Trial and error. And I also learned how to weld also. I bought all the equipment. So I probably bought maybe $5,000 to $10,000 worth of equipment to do this. And I'm a retired doctor, so if I can do that, I can certainly do this.
Yeah.
Different thing, but I like it. I like the industrial arts.
Yeah.
That over there used to be a berth where the life raft is. We made it into storage for all the ditch bag, flares, etc. That's a 6-person Winslow life raft, weighs 55 pounds. So if you're scared, even if you can't lift 55 pounds, you can lift it real quick under those circumstances and get it out there and get it ready to go. When you go around the world, you really can't close your hatches because it's too hot. And so we had custom hatches made with bars. And this is for all the hatches, the overhead ones. So when we're at anchor, we would put these in place. And we also had infrared audible alarms to let us know if anybody came on board. And we had other ways to deal with them, but I'm not going to talk about that.
Got to be ready for anything when you're halfway around the world.
Absolutely. I just put in a new subwoofer.
What was your most memorable stop traveling around the world? I'm sure there's many, but...
Well, we spent 2 years in New Zealand. So New Zealand is like Pennsylvania, Colorado, and the Swiss Alps, and Maine and Washington State all rolled into one. So it's an amazing place, but I'm not particularly a fan of the politics, so that's another story. But we could have actually stayed down there as residents, but we wanted to get back to the good old USA. So when people asked me, and they did, when we were sailing around the world, where was your favorite place? I'd always say the USA, because it is.
Same here. Wow, what a boat you built here. I mean, really, that's an amazing feat, and whoever gets this is, I mean, this thing is turnkey, a boat that I've seen in a while.
Well, she's custom, and I did a lot of the work, but I had the boat drawn up professionally by Ted Brewer, and I had the hull done by hull and deck by Mooney Marine in Deltaville, Virginia, and then the wooden boat interior put in by a wooden boat builder up in Maine. And we used a lot of native lumber, so there's no veneers in here or anything like that. This is solid wood. And she's a great boat. She sails really well. She's got 3 sets of sails and literally ready to go around the world again. And it's just gotten to the point now where I'm not going to be sailing anymore. And that's the end of the story for me.
Well, Robert, I really appreciate it. It was a real pleasure to tour Iron Mistress.
Well, thanks, Brian. I appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you.